Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. And by the way, let me thank each and every one of you. We added almost another 27,000 subscribers in just the last 2 weeks. So thank you for that. And continue to watch, continue to comment, and please continue to share with your friends, because the chaos, not just here domestically, but internationally, it's just not stopping. Now, this morning, for example, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, funny, right? Hard to say, Secretary of State Marco Rubio and other American officials met with Russian officials in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, to discuss the 3-year-long war in Ukraine. You remember? You remember when Vladimir Putin said this war will be over by the end of the weekend? 3 long years. And I want to break down for you what's happened so far. So let's look at the reporting from CNN. It starts out by saying, U.S.-Russia talks about Ukraine's future have wrapped up for the day. It was 4.5 hours of meetings. Here are the key things to know. By sending his team to discuss peace with Russian President Vladimir Putin's team before consulting Europe, U.S. President Donald Trump has left European leaders scrambling to find a role in diplomatic efforts surrounding the Ukraine war. Trump revealed that he had spoken with Putin last Wednesday, and negotiations to end the war in Ukraine would start immediately. Today, the first stage of those talks about the future of Ukraine took place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, without Ukraine or Europe invited to the table. Let me repeat that. Without Ukraine or Europe invited to the table. The next part, he turns around, 4 principles were discussed. The U.S. and Russia agreed on 4 principles. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Tuesday. They include reestablishing embassies in their respective capitals, the U.S. appointing a high-level team to help end the war in Ukraine, beginning to discuss the geopolitical and economic cooperation that an end to the Ukraine war could provide the United States and Russia, and finally, all of those engaged in today's talks committing to ensuring it progresses productively. Further, it turns around and it says, it's how the various parties are responding to them. Kirill Dmitriev puts it down as huge accomplishment. The head of Russia's Foreign Wealth Fund and part of Russia's negotiating team in Saudi Arabia described the talks as a huge accomplishment following years of enmity, and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said were useful. Rubio said extraordinary opportunities could be available for both the United States and Russia if the war in Ukraine ends. Rubio said there are credible opportunities for the United States to partner with the Russians geopolitically on issues of common interest and, frankly, economically. Speaking to reporters after the talks, Rubio also said that Trump was the only person who could end the war in Ukraine. Meanwhile, U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz said that the talks will involve discussions of territory and security guarantees. Further, Ukraine will not give in to Russia's ultimatums, President Volodymyr Zelensky said following the talks between Trump administration officials and Moscow. I mean, you really do have to turn around and scratch your head for a second and say, wait. Where was Zelensky in these discussions? Why would you start conversation without one of the 2 parties that are personally affected by it? Well, before Tuesday's talks in Riyadh, Zelensky had said he would refuse to sign any agreement negotiated without Kiev's involvement. Kiev, of course, being the capital of Ukraine, meaning him. Now, earlier in the day, other European leaders responded. with the president of the European Commission telling the US, Ukraine, Russia envoy during a meeting that now is a critical moment for the war and that a resolution must respect Ukraine's independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. Separately, UK Defense Secretary John Healey also said that the efforts to end the war in Ukraine herald a new era of threat. China also said it expects all parties to the Ukraine war to sit together for peace negotiations. Again, a head scratcher. Imagine the sane one in this discussion is China. Well, let me further go on to show you that Trump-Putin meeting is unlikely in the next week, according to an aide of Putin. A presidential aide to Vladimir Putin, who is part of Moscow's negotiating team in Saudi Arabia, said it was unlikely that U.S. President Donald Trump would meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in the next week. Earlier on Tuesday, some media reported that the two leaders would meet sometime next week, but Yuri Yushkov, Putin's aide, suggested that time frame was unlikely. Yushkov did say that Moscow and Washington will work to create conditions for a meeting between the leaders at some stage in the future. Now, I want to be very clear about something. Reports are also indicating that one of the things that Trump might be offering to Putin is that he gets to keep all of the land that they have currently taken. It's like 22% of all of Ukraine. Plus, there would be some negotiated benefit that mineral rights would come to both Russia and the United States. So somebody needs to explain to me, Ukraine is not a rich country. They are rich in agriculture. They've always been known as the breadbasket of the former Soviet Union. They have incredible agriculture, but that's not enough to sustain the country. So now you're going to take the other export item that they have, minerals, and you're going to give it to Russia and, of course, the United States, because everything, according to this administration, is about money. It's all transactional. Now, I want to bring something else up here in finality. Based on Zelensky's response to the meeting, I want to show you a clip from last week of Trump being asked if they are squeezing out Zelensky and Ukraine. Play that clip.
Are you freezing out President Zelensky of this process a bit? Isn't there a danger of that?
No, I don't think so, as long as he's there. But, at some point you're going to have elections, too. You're going to have an election.
Yeah. Basically, what he is doing is squeezing out Zelensky. Why not just say, I committed to the American people. And here's a better answer for him. I committed to the American people that I will stop this war in Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine, because the United States of America cannot and will not continue to fund it. Plain and simple. Now, in order to do so, it is necessary for me to engage in the stronger of the two parties, and that is Russia. And once I finish, in my estimation, of getting a negotiation that is fair and reasonable to all sides, I will propose this to both sides in hopes that they agree and sign the agreement. If not, that is now between them to continue to fight it out, but will not be assisted by the United States of America, not economically, not militarily, and in no way, shape, or form. That, to me, is a well thought out and a legitimate response. Whether you like the response or not, it is a fair and legitimate. But to now turn around and basically put out a statement knowing it's going to get back to the Ukrainian people, that there's elections coming up and Zelensky's not doing a good job and he's not listening to Donald Trump and blah, 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 and not inviting him to the table when it's his country that has been attacked, it's improper and I find it wrong. And I'm certain that you do too. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.